All right, everybody, we're live. I'm excited about today's podcast. Been a couple weeks. First of all, you guys know the drill. I've got to share this to my personal page so everybody can check this out. I've got an awesome guest today, good friend of mine, fellow top producer, Tina Caul. She's in the background waiting. I'm going to bring you guys here. Make sure I tag everybody if you guys have anybody that you want to share with. I think we're good. We're going to post. I think we're set. So let's get this party started. And welcome to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Terb, your local real estate expert with the Terb Group, Caul Banker HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb. And this is episode 37, hard to believe, 37 of the Super Terb Podcast, where I talk real estate, business, sports, and beer in the triangle. Bringing on local business owner, fellow agent, coaches, you name it, just to talk about their journey, their business, and just have a lot of fun as well as incorporate some real estate tips for you. And today's guest, I cannot wait. She's coming in live from Las Vegas, Tina Caul from the Caul Group, powered by EXP Realty. And I just am excited to have her on here. We've known her several years now. She's been doing real estate longer than me. And I just want her to come on, talk about her journey, as well as we're going to do a market update recap. So I cannot wait to have her on. And if you're on here, if you're an agent or you have questions, feel free to comment or ask those questions. We'll get those addressed for you. But before I bring her on from backstage, I just want to go over a quick real estate update, guys. You know, we're entering, I can't believe Thanksgiving's a week from today. And the market's not slowing down. Market's not slowing down. People are like, hey, should I wait for the spring? A lot of people may want to do that. You know, that's the mentality. But right now, people are renting, people are in Airbnbs, and they're waiting for those properties. And per the stats that we just received from the Triangle MLS, over the last 12 months, from October to October, we've had an average increase in sales price by 21%. Believe it or not, our average sales price in Wake County is $477,000, and that's up $10,000 from the month before, in the month of September. We're still carrying a little bit over 2 weeks of inventory. So the key is pricing your homes right, making it show ready, get as much traction as possible, as many feet in those doors, get those multiple offers to get max value to help get that money, whether you want to downsize, you want to capitalize on that equity, you want to go to that larger home. There is no better time to sell, everyone. And again, even though it's seasonal, people need homes. So if you're all thinking about how much equity am I sitting on, Terb? What can we sell our home for, Terb? What do we need to have our house ready to be ready for the spring, Terb? Message me. I'd love to have a no obligation market analysis, as well as just tell you what we can do to put you in the best position to win. So in saying that, I'm going to take a quick break. I just want to get right to the point, get Tina here, and let's have some fun. And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Michael Terb, your local real estate expert with the Terb Group, Caul Banker HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb, and I'm bringing my friend Tina Caul to the screen. Hey, Tina.
Hello, Mike.
All right. Thanks for joining me. So everyone here, this is Tina Caul. For people that may not know you, whether they're listening on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, you know, we're everywhere. Tell everybody your name and where you're from and what you do.
So my name is Tina Caul. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I've lived here for 12 years. And I'm a real estate agent. I run a real estate team, and I've been a real estate agent for 21 years. Started when I was 22. I'm 43, and I've had a wild ride. I'm still having fun.
Now, you did real estate. Where were you from before Raleigh?
So I grew up in Michigan. I grew up in Michigan, and we moved here in Raleigh to Raleigh 12 years ago. So right outside of Detroit. I sold real estate there for about 7-8 years, and we decided that we didn't want to live where the wind hurt our face. So we ventured on down to North Carolina and never looked back, and we've loved it ever since. So.
And did you do real estate in Michigan?
I did. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. So, and you already touched on this. When did you start your real estate career?
I was 22 years old. So I was in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And our real estate agent at the time, Joe Bomarito, was showing Kevin homes. He was buying his first home. We were together since we were 16. And so he was buying his first home at 20 years old. And we stayed in touch, and she said, you should try this. And she kind of pulled me into the business because I was doing a lot of research and finding the homes. And I told her I didn't know what I wanted to do. And she thought I'd be a great fit. And I never thought I'd be a salesperson, but I love helping people. I call myself the fixer. And it's a great career if you really love to help people and solve their problems. So.
No question. So that went to my next question: is what made you get into real estate? So you've already answered that. So I know you and I have talked in the past, and this will be just a good dialogue for us, because I also know there's going to be agents that are going to be listening to this and need help or advice on what the biggest challenges are, what adversity you're facing, what they can do to grow. So I know you were an individual agent for how long before you started a team?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was an individual agent for the first, 7 years of my career. And I became the equivalent of the 7, 8 agents I was around, right? I was a sponge, and, I sold 20 to 25 homes a year. I made 150,000. I loved my life. And then I moved to North Carolina after I found a real estate coach that kind of opened my eyes to thinking bigger, like, hey, you hate Michigan, so why don't you move? You're not a tree, you don't have to stay here. And so we did. We packed up, Kevin and I, and our son, who was 3.5 at the time, and we moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. So, and then restarted our career here. We didn't know anybody. I couldn't get out of my driveway without GPS, so it was scary but fun.
How many years were you in it before you hired a coach?
So it was about 7 years. It was 6 years. The real estate market from 2001 to 2006, 2007, the market started crashing in Michigan well before it did in North Carolina in 2008. And so I actually lost half of my income. I was making about 150,000 a year in my early 20s. And then all of a sudden my income went to 40,000. I lost half my business. And so when I was kind of praying about it, should I stay in real estate? Should I leave? I bumped into one of the top agents in the market. It would be like bumping into Ida Terb. And then, she basically said to me, I said, how are you doing it, Beline? How are you surviving? I lost half my income. She said, kid, if you want to be successful in real estate, you need to hire a coach. You need to read books about self-improvement, and you need to surround yourself with big thinking people. And so I realized that she had a coaching company, and I just hired that coaching company. And the next year, my income went from 40,000 back to 150,000. They taught me specific things that I think every real estate agent should do and know to have a duplicatable business versus, letting the business happen to them or letting the day happen to them. So it was very crucial at that time.
Well, it's amazing you say that too, because I was a college basketball coach before getting into real estate. Never thought I'd do it a day in my life. You mentioned my mom, Ida Turbot. Yeah. Punishment as a kid was looking at houses. And when I came back in 2006, not knowing what I was going to walk into, and experienced 6 months of the Wild Wild West, as we called it. And all you had to do was fog a mirror to get a loan, to buy a house. Went through the financial crisis, short sale specialist, you name it. Wasn't until about 4 years ago, March, that the light bulb came on for me too, that I needed a coach. I think you need a coach in all facets of your life.
Agreed.
Depending on what that is. And I try to explain that to agents as well. And I actually have 3 coaches. I actually work with the core, and I've actually worked with David Kesey, and they are putting me in position to win. So if you're listening to this and you're at all thinking about you need a coach, just do it. You need to take the plunge and invest in yourself. So you were an individual agent for how many years again before you started a team?
We moved here in 2009, and I was basically from 2001 through 2014. I was an individual agent, because 2015 I hired my first buyer's agent to help me build the business. Because my trajectory here was, the first 6 months I was here, I sold one house, and we kind of drained our accounts. And my husband knocked on my door one day to the office. He said, we're about to go broke next month, so we need to sell more homes. And so then I said, well, you need to prospect with me. And so we would battle who was going to prospect that day. And so it ended up being him most of the time. But I went from 33 deals that next 6 month period to 55 the next year, 85, and then 130 deals. I did that for 4 years straight, and I burned myself out. And then I hired a buyer's agent.
And you finally, my mom, I remember her, actually, I was young, and 911 came to our house because she was in our back stairwell having a panic attack.
Pretty much.
Doing everything herself. And that was finally when she's like, I need help. What's your team like now? I know you've got a large team. Tell everyone now what your team's like.
Yeah. I was going to say, for your mom having that panic attack, I think real estate agents, what I'm so passionate about is we always think this business should just be belly to belly. Everybody wants us, and we never know how to scale the business. That's the trouble right now. And so I love to coach on that. But my business today looks a lot different. I'm out of production. I don't have to go out and physically list and sell homes anymore or buy homes. I have a team. I had last year we had 11 agents. They sold 360 homes. This year we have 24 agents. They sold about 500 homes. And so we just hired 10 new agents because we understand that I can actually give the gift of a career to an agent, and we kind of share in the machine that I built. And then I'm almost grooming them and kind of bringing them back into the market. And now I'm sort of like a mini brokerage, if you think about it that way, where I can use my time and my skill that I've learned through the years to help these agents grow. So it's been a really rewarding step out of the business and a step into coaching.
Now, is that the team you're describing? Are they all local?
They are.
They're all here at the Caul Group?
Well, so they're all local here at the Caul Group, but I'm, of course, with EXP Realty. So I have about 100 agents that join me as partners at the brokerage in 38 states. So I kind of coach those people personally. And then those people went out and grew our private mastermind network to about 850 agents. So we do a lot of group coaching, masterminding, helping agents all around the country grow their business, which has been really, really rewarding as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and tell you something that you wish you knew now, what would it be?
I think for sure, it would be, hey, young lady, if God forbid something happened to you, got hit by a bus, you got cancer, you got in an accident, your business dies with you. And I would have taught myself faster that I can't do it all. And I would have invested some of the money that I was making into hiring leverage, hiring more admin, hiring more agents, helping them grow, coming more from abundance than I used to say, Coach Terb, if it's to be, it's up to me. Now I say, if it's to be, it's up to we. And so I would have taught myself how to become a business owner faster versus a high paid employee of the business.
Mm-hmm. And saying that, and you've been here, 20 years or what in Raleigh, what are the biggest changes you've seen in our area?
So I've been here actually 12 years in Raleigh.
12 years. I apologize.
No, that's good. Uh-huh. But I mean, a decade, right? More than a decade. It has changed dramatically. When I moved here, Beaver Creek Crossing wasn't even here in Apex. Like Holly Springs was like, who moves to Holly Springs? And Fuquay was like way out in the boonies, So, you're starting to see so many people from the Northeast, so many people from the West Coast are coming here because our market has been undervalued for a long, long time. And now that we're deemed mini Silicon Valley, we're seeing just, all the tech jobs and Apple has come. So we've arrived. And I think that we're still undervalued. In fact, I was doing a podcast with a guy in the Bay Area in California. He was saying 4 years ago in the Bay Area, their average price per square foot was $600. Now it's $1,000 a square foot. I purchased my house at $250 a square foot a year ago. And I thought that was expensive. And now we're, now some of the new construction's $350 and we're balking at it. Oh my God, $350. And he said to me, you better buy every single home in the triangle right now because it's going to double. Like it's going to double. So if there's a seller out there that's thinking of moving, ride up the next decade in the house you want to be in because you're still getting a great deal. Sell your house for top value, buy a house, get in there and wait. And you're going to be thrilled.
I know, because that's what the question that we get now, or it's like, should we just wait or ride this out, or we wait for the crash? And I'm trying to tell everybody, this is not 2008. You actually need a supply to have a bubble. This is a supply and demand issue. And of course, I think we have over 70 people moving here a day. Like to touch on your thing, and they're bringing their equity, they're bringing their liquid with them. And of course, that's what the 25% appreciation. So the last 18, 20 months, it's hard to believe in March will be 2 years that we've had COVID in our lives, unfortunately. And it's been interesting to see how we've adjusted. What are the things that it's interesting too, a stat that I read, just a few months ago, as a country, we have the lowest inventory since the 1970s.
Yeah.
What have you done? Because we're coaching our agents constantly as well, but what have you seen, or what adjustments have you had to make in educating your agents as well as your clients with COVID in regards to the low supply, being in these multiple offer situations, and how to win?
Well, I think that, low supply markets are not something that nobody else has ever dealt with but us. In our mastermind group across the nation, we talk to agents in California, agents in Austin, Texas, agents in New York, agents that have dealt with this way longer than us. And they're like laughing at us. Oh, come on, multiple offers. Like, yeah, have you seen San Francisco? They have literally portals where buyers they just bypass, the agent. They're just like, here's what I want to offer. So they've seen it worse than us. And Arizona agents, they'll tell us all the time. I remember when my buyers were tenting out in front of lots just to get the lots. So I don't think it's anything different. It's just that you got to understand we are a market that people want to move to. We are undervalued. You're going to have to play to win. And the days of, getting a house for, 150,000, 200,000, well, they're gone. The days of, $2,000-$3,000 deposit and, those are gone. So you're never, and the funny thing is if a buyer was moving to New York or to California, they would never have that idea. But here they still think it's sleepy North Carolina. It's not anymore. I mean, it really isn't. So I would say don't have buyer fatigue in your head. Don't think it's going to change. Just be prepared to, use ribbon, if you need to have a cash offer, use some of the companies that are going to charge you maybe 1% to compete with a cash offer. Talk to your real estate agent and try to compete with maybe having your mortgage lender do a guarantee on the closing date, or they'll pay the seller, a certain amount of money. Have your agent dig through properties or past client. I mean, we call our past client list all the time saying, hey, are you thinking of moving up? So we're really trying to dig for more inventory, and then use your fellow agents, in your brokerage, whether you're Coldwell Banker or EXP or Keller Williams, talk to those agents in the office and really pick their brains about, properties that are off market that people don't, they don't want to sell, but they might sell for the right price. If you buy a home today, you're literally buying with equity. You're
exactly.
Just right. I mean, the game is to win and buy a house like that. You won just buying one.
Well, what you've touched on is what you always say, who you work with matters. I mean, I always say that it's strategizing, knowing how to put yourself in position to win. You have, as an agent, have to create the right expectations. The people that are coming from out of state, they've never heard of this thing called due diligence money. So when I tell them you're going to maybe put 30, maybe up to 100,000 in due diligence, they think after I pick them up off the floor and resuscitate them, but it's the education. Because I was in my coaching conference last week, and I'm explaining to the agents of other states what we do, and they're thinking we're nuts. It's what it is. You have to adjust there. But you hit it right on the head, because you said something earlier. I remember when I first got in real estate in 2006, we went to that's when we were in Keller Williams. And we went to a conference. It was pre-recession, but we were on the doorsteps, and other agents in other areas couldn't believe we even did, CMAs. They're like, "What are you talking about? We just put the sign, because again, there's no more building at that time. When I started, Wake County still had 20 years of growth, right? So there was, we had to do that. So yes, you're exactly right. It's just getting to us later. So if you had to describe 2021, bird's eye view down, real estate market, what would be a couple words to describe it?
I think that it is an achievable thing to still buy a home. It's fast paced. Yes. It's competitive. Yes. But there is, if you work with somebody like you, Terb, or myself, or agents that, are selling 40, 50, 60 homes, you're going to find that those advisors are going to have strategies and techniques to help get you into these homes. The other thing is, if you're working with a group, right? I mean, you're collaborating, and like you and your family, I mean, you've got lists and lists and lists of past clients. So I think you just have to work with somebody who's willing to do a little bit more work than, hey, this is what's on MLS. I mean, we sell off-market properties all the time. So you just got to get in, do the work, be patient, be patient in this market. You're not going to maybe find the perfect house overnight. And also let go of trying to find 100% of what you want. If you find 70, go for it, right? Green light, just go for it, and then fix and improve and rework. People are going to have to get creative in this market. They're not going to find the perfect house because they don't have the amount of time to find perfection anymore. So
I always say that too. Even if you built a home, once you moved in, you thought it was perfect. You're like, dang, I wish we did that. So there's no such thing.
Exactly.
You buy the neighborhood first, house second.
Exactly.
Always thinking for resale. Okay, so you're a seller. This is the comments we get all the time. Tina, we'd love to. We know we want to buy, but we don't want to sell till we know where we're going. Yeah. What do you do to navigate through that? because I know a lot of agents are listening or going to be listening, and that's a great conversation to have because sellers want to sell right now.
They do want to sell.
And they want to maximize what they can. I mean, it's amazing. We're helping people that have bought homes 2 to 3 years ago making 6-figure return, and there's no better time. So anyway, what do you say to sellers? Say, we don't know where we want to go, Terb, but we want to sell.
They want to sell. I would say to them, do you want to sell more than the inconvenience? Is the inconvenience going to be a stumbling block for you? Because people in other parts of the country, in California or in Austin, Texas, they've dealt with these markets. The sellers understand that sometimes you have to move twice. So you have to be patient. The other thing I would say is I have so many sellers. We are in a seller's market, so the sellers have a little more control. If I list this property and we sell it in 30 days or 3 weeks or 3 days or 3 hours, I bet you any money I'm going to find a buyer that's willing to wait for you to go find another home. So we're getting even up to 6 months. I have a seller right now, 6 months. They can live in their home because the buyer's in a lease. We've had buyers at their parents' house. We've had the buyers inconveniencing themselves to get and wait into the home. So the buyers are willing to give up convenience back to the seller, but the sellers are, either not being told correctly by their agent, but the sellers have the power. So I really try to empower them and go, look, you have what they want. You can just say, I will not sell my home unless you let me live here for 3, 4, 5 months until I find a home. And they're going to say yes. And if you only find one buyer instead of 13, fine. You only need one. That's flexible. Yeah.
So someone's jumping on to watch here. Hey, Mom.
Oh, hi, Ida.
No, that's why I tell my sellers. Actually, when I was out of town, I was with another fellow agent, and a buyer made a sight unseen offer, and I overhear him talking to his client, and I'm like, bro, you got all the leverage. Counter back what you want. They have to give you enough to take the home off the market without showing it to everybody. So You're exactly right. 2022 is here. We're already business planning. We're doing our dream boards. What is Tina Caul's goals for 2022 and your team?
We want to really, the goals are, building a cohesive team, really making sure our advisors are well trained in the market. I'm very passionate about them being extra skilled. They coach and train with us 4 days a week. They're intensely ingrained in the culture of growth. We really want to perfect our systems and our customer service, go above and beyond for the client. So it's not so much about let's help more sellers or buyers. It's more about let's perfect the systems because we had a huge growth year. We want to help 700 families next year and then hopefully 1,000 by, the next 3 years, which can we do it? Sure. I think we can help more and more people. The more agents we have on our team that we train and help and coach. And I think people want high performance agents. The average agent sells 4 homes a year. They need an agent like Terb. They need an agent like Ida. They need an agent like myself or my team, because if I'm going to spend $250,000, $500,000 or $1 million, I want to make sure that agent has done this more than a few times a year, right? I like
to always say it's your business, not your job.
Yeah.
I always tell people that. And it's amazing what you just said about service. I'm sure you've read Raving Fans.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Great book.
Yes.
And I just had a meeting with our team today, and the same thing. 95% of our business is through referrals, past clients.
Right.
And our mentality, similar to, I know yours, is do everything 1% better.
Right.
As well as every client, it's 5-star service. We have concierge, you have your updates. And that's how you grow and how you do business. And it's not overnight. And so it leads me to one of my last questions before we get into rapid questions and have fun.
Oh no.
Even though we're already having fun.
Yeah.
But agent just gets their license this year. Mm-hmm. What nuggets would you tell them? Because the average, is it about 87% don't get to their second year?
Right. Yeah. They fail.
What would you tell them coming in? What couple things to be thinking about?
I think they have to think about which way are they going to build their business, right? Are they going to build it? You have to build the business. And I would say spend 80% of the time in build mode, 20% of the time in servicing. In our industry, the problem is it's flip-flopped. Agents are the marketing people. They're the ISA. They're the agent. They're the coach. They're the TC. They do all the jobs. And so, you're going to spread yourself too thin. I mean, imagine you open up a coffee shop and you say, oh, I'm just going to hire one employee for the whole, you can't. So I would say that the thing is to link up with a team right now. When I joined 21 years ago, real estate, there were no teams. You just had to figure it out, fake it till you make it. And it was slow growth. So think about joining, an Ida Turbot team, joining Michael Turbot, joining a Caul Group, joining an Angie Caul Realty, right? Where we've already kind of paved the path. We're going to plug you into our systems, our processes. You're going to get an education like this because Michael and I had to pay for coaching, right? We paid $2,000-3,000 a month. We still pay for coaching and we're really successful. So when you plug into a team, yes, you're going to pay 50%, but that education that you're going to get on that team is priceless and you're going to get income faster. And then maybe you want to go off and, become famous, fine. But at least start somewhere and start with get a coach, get a mentor, surround yourself with big thinking people that are going to help lift you up versus you trying to do it alone to prove what? That you can make a few more dollars selling 1 or 2 more homes yourself. It doesn't make sense.
You're exactly right. I tell people the same thing. If I was blessed to join our team coming out, didn't have a clue. Mom just made it look easy. I'm going to go sell houses. I'm going to go drive people around. And
right. It's fun. Open doors.
I love showing houses, So, but same thing. I tell people, link on, join a team where they're getting mentorship. I mean, Jordan Hatch was an agent that came on to help me specifically in February, just got her license. And oh my goodness, it's amazing to watch her take off. But she's told me countless times, she's like, Terb, I couldn't do this. Just the dialogue. Like they don't teach in real estate school. Okay, the appraisal missed by $40,000. What kind of conversation are you going to have?
Right.
Or we haven't had to deal with a lot of repairs, but same thing. That's one thing I've told Jordan and some newer agents, like, wait till this shifts eventually. And the leverage goes back a little bit to the buyers and you're negotiating repairs again. Or things that are, your deals are hinging on them. So no, that's fantastic. So, I just appreciate you coming on, but we're not done yet. I always like to have some fun, get to know you, that people get a little more information that we may not know, as well as because I know you got a conference to get to down there. So rapid questions. Favorite restaurant?
Oh my God. Favorite restaurant right now, I would say is Aladdin's. I just discovered it in North Hills.
I've not been there.
It's fast. It's Mediterranean. It's a step up above Jasmine. And I'm Greek and Italian, so I love Mediterranean. I mean, I love City. City's great, but for low cost, amazing food and lots of food, because I'm, again, Greek and Italian, Aladdin's.
That sounds fantastic. So you may have already answered his favorite food.
I still love Greek food, Mediterranean Greek food. Second would be Italian food, then Indian food. Those are my favorite.
Before I get to the next question, I know Joelle, she said hello. I don't know if you saw that. So she was
hello, Joelle.
Hey, Joelle. And then my good friend I work out with, we always say vamos together. So what's up, Walter?
Vamos.
And then my dad, of course, is ready for Sunday. Go Panthers. So this week's that, because this is going to be fun. Favorite sports team?
Oh, God, I told you.
I know you told me not much
I'm going to say the Lions because my husband, even though they suck, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say it for Kevin Caul. Take one for the team, the Lions.
So you know it. So you live the pain. I get it.
I love the pain.
What do you like doing to not selling real estate?
Oh, my God, so much. I love to travel. I love to garden. I love to decorate. I love to flip houses.
You golf, though, too.
I love to golf.
So we got to hit the sticks. We got to hit the sticks. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy lots of cans of swing easy and getting outside and having fun. So that's because I've seen you on the golf course, or at least on the ball. Favorite movie?
Oh my God. I would say The Notebook. I love love stories.
Okay. Favorite place you visited?
My favorite place in the world so far is Malta.
Malta. That sounds really cool.
Yeah. It's
okay. So what's a place you want to go to you haven't been to?
I want to go to different spots in Italy, like Tuscany, and and I want to do a river cruise. I want to do a Viking river cruise and kind of go see some castles and stuff.
Oh, that'd be cool. Mom and Dad did a Mediterranean cruise way back when. This will be a good one because you're gonna have to think. It'll be impulse. Craziest real estate story.
So the craziest real estate story is I was showing a house and I found a drunk man naked in his bed. So. That was fun.
Why is it always consist of naked people? Usually that's the case. That was where I've had. I don't know if I've seen naked, but I've seen some activities happening that you're not supposed to be seeing.
I called the real estate agent. I said there is a drunk naked man in his bed, and she said, "Oh man, he did it again." So it I should have put that in the MLS. Watch out for naked
man. That's great. All right, you can have dinner with 2 people, dead or alive. Who are you bringing to dinner?
Oh God, who am I bringing to dinner? That's a hard one. There's so many people. I would definitely pick Oprah because I love Oprah. I grew up watching Oprah, so I love Oprah. And the other person would be probably Eckhart Tolle.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
This last question I ask everybody that comes on the Super Terb podcast. I'm going to make a book. I always, whenever the Super Terb podcast finishes, I don't know when that will happen. Mm-hmm. The best advice you've ever received, and by who?
I think, oh God, there's advice is to open up my mind. Somebody, I forget who told me this, but it was a while ago. Don't be afraid to take risks. Opportunities don't go away. They just go to somebody else. Oh, honey, husband and son, I have dinner with you every night. And the other thing I would say to people is this is my number one thing. If you think about what you tell yourself every day in your head, and everybody does it because I interview more people all the time now. And you would be surprised at how many people, I hate my hair. I hate my nose. Oh, look at my face. People are so mean to themselves. And when you think about the voice in your head, I want you to think about, would you talk to your child that way? Would you talk to your brother that way? Would you talk to your mother or father that way? If you think about what you tell yourself every single day, you are the meanest person to yourself. So I would leave everybody with, be nicer to yourself, really fall in love with who you are. And I think you're going to just have a better life.
I'm going to add on to that because it wasn't until, you're exactly right. Your ego, because when people hear the word ego, you think of, I'm the best. But that doesn't mean that. It's other thing that your brain is telling you that's not true.
Right.
Whether that means, I can't call that person because I'm going to bug them. Rather than I'm going to call them because I have value to provide to them.
Exactly.
Or I've just had X amount of closings and I'm not doing good enough, though. It's okay.
Right. Or look at them. They're doing more than me. Comparison, right? The thief of joy.
Especially in social media world. But led me to 2018 where David Kesey, Tim Stout, 2 of my great coaches, finally said, Terb, I went head first into social media.
Yeah.
And I learned what the word ubiquity means. The idea that you're everywhere and not care is, what I told myself, something's better than perfect, because it's funny to watch my first videos and it's hilarious. Yeah. And then I would edit it and do it 80 cents. Now I do one time. If I slam on a word, I'm good. And I also thought too, I tell agents this, the average person watches 3 seconds of a video and we have the attention span of less than a goldfish.
Yes.
So that's why in any video you need a good hook, story, offer. That's a whole nother video part of that. But because I was even going to make do something. I'm going to eventually do this in my video. So be on the lookout. About 50 seconds in, I made something like, if anybody responds with the word apple, you get $100.
Oh, I like that.
So, but you know what I mean? But that's what you're saying that exactly right. I mean, people, we're our harshest critics. And so, no, this is all great stuff. Any final thoughts before my last break? Because you're going to come back on the other side and we're going to talk about our local beer of the week.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that we need a little bit more empowerment in the world. We need people to help other people believe in themselves. Somebody believed in me before I believed in myself. So I would say that if you don't have a coach, if you can't afford a coach, surround yourself with people that really do believe in you, give you that confidence. Because once you have confidence in life, I don't care if you're a real estate agent or a taxi driver, whoever you are, love yourself and then believe that your dreams don't have to die, right? Keep dreaming until the day that you can't take another breath and really live the life that you want. You're writing the chapter in every book. So what does your book sound like, look like? What's the next chapter? Because if you don't write those chapters, you're going to let life happen to you. And that's not life. Life is precious. So I would say, write your chapters, live a great life and surround yourself with awesome people like Coach Terb.
And Tina. No, and I can't thank you enough before I take my last break here. For my people listening on Apple and Spotify. Just can't thank you enough to come on. I've had Jim Allen on, of course, Mom on. I'm going to actually start bringing on more top producers. When I first started the podcast, is also for entrepreneurs, coaches, tell their story, just to get to know people more. And I think sometimes we're a little too guarded in our industry to share and to help one another. And that's why, like Aaron Thomas at Trying to Real Producers, I think we've got a great community here to where I think no matter what company you're with or working with, we're helping one another as well as giving back to the community. That's one of my goals for 2022 is to give more, because I think we're in position to do just that. So I think this has been fantastic, and I just can't thank you enough. But you're not done yet. Just give me 1 second. We're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to talk about the local beer of the week. In this case, I'm going to have a couple establishments that are close to me and give them a shout out. Okay.
Awesome.
And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert with the Terb Group, Coldwell Banker, HBW, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb, and I'm back with my friend Tina Caul. I didn't let her leave yet. And we're going to talk about the local beer of the week. We always like to give a local beer a shout out. We have a lot of breweries here. I know you don't drink much beer, Tina, but I could always change it. You like wine, though, right?
I do like wine, yes.
Okay, so this leads me to a couple companies. I'm not talking about specific beers this week. I'm just talking about a couple companies that are local, that if you're in the area, go check them out. Tell them Terb sent you. Support them through this holiday season. And that's Taylor's Wine Shop right off Six Forks Road, north of Strickland. Ben Cash doing an amazing job. They've got a lot of wine up there. They do wine tasting. They're getting back to that.
Nice.
Wine tastings, music, but they have local beers. And, of course, my favorite seasonal beer. So go check them out, guys. The other is Dee's Bottle Shop. It's in Wakefield, Falls and News. They do a wonderful job. They're by my friend Anthony Scalasi's at Wakefield Tavern. And again, they've got beers on. They don't have any wine, I don't think, but they've got plenty of beer on tap as well as the seasonal beer. So again, check those guys out. They're working hard, and there's so many local support local too. When you're shopping this holiday season, everyone's doing their best. They're working hard to, make a living. So let's help one another. If you're at all listening and you're wanting to be on the Super Terb Podcast, reach out to me, message me. I'd love to have you on. And Tina, thank you so much for coming on. And lastly, if there's anything I can do to help you accomplish your real estate goals, reach out to me. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, leave a comment. And lastly, remember, who you work with matters. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.